enemies have spawned.
What I have done cannot be undone. The shadow. Secrets kept, our weapons wasted.
They never saw it coming.
Punish restraint. The truth lies in darkness. The shadows have enlightened me. No technique is forbidden. Tradition is the corpse of wisdom. Brave the shadows, find the truth. Only the worthy.
An ally has been slain. Double kill. An ally has been slain.
Balance is
An enemy has been slain.
not deny me.
slain an enemy. An enemy has been slain.
Balance is a fool's master.
An enemy has been slain.
Secrets kept is wasted.
An enemy has been slain. Killing spree.
Without a sound.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Do not fear the shrouded path.
Your team has destroyed a turret. Killing spree. An enemy has been slain. Turret plating will soon fall.
Lighten me.
Rampage. Your team has destroyed a turret. Double kill.
Brave the shadows.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Balance is we Triple kill. Victory!
把斐波那契的1和0画反方向了吗？正确的斐波那契交易法应该如何应用？如果你对本期视频感兴趣的话，请随我看下去。这是比特币当前的4小时级别盘面。其实啊，我个人会认为，我们现在在这里的箱体震荡，跟上面这里还有这里的走势已经是不一样的了。这也可以解释为什么我在之前出现这个看涨吞没的时候，我去做了一张多单，虽然现在是被打止损了。那我个人呢，现在是在等待突破这条下降趋势线的做多机会的。为什么呢？各位可以仔细观察一下量能。你看，我们下方在这里的时候，我们在顶部出现了一个假突破之后呢，我们每一次下跌都放出了非常巨大的量能，这表示有主力是在派发筹码的。那在这段走势呢，这个情况算是非常明显，所有的上涨都是缩量，那下跌呢都是放量。你可以看到下面的量能啊，这个状况是非常非常明显。但是好，我们切换到当前的盘面，你可以发现现在呢，供应已经慢慢缩小，供应已经慢慢被吸收了，但是现在还不是很好的做多时机。为什么呢？我们要等突破的右侧回撤才是安全的。如果是你现在做多的话，一定是左侧摸底的行为。其实呢，我还有一个证据可以给大家看。如果我们打开指标的话，你可以发现 MACD 它已经出现了双重的底背离。其实底背离啊，在我的交易系统里面算是占有一定份额的。但是呢，双重的底背离在我的交易系统里面就是占有非常大的份额的，尤其是在数字货币的交易当中，每当出现双重底背离的时候，这个时候我就会去找机会做多。你看我们的 MACD 是不是不断的出现了 higher， 不断出现了 higher low， 而我们的价格呢，却不断出现了 lower low， 这就是一个非常明显的底背离。而且你可以看到，这是我自己写的 RSI， 它也出现了连续2个底背离的状况，所以现在价格呢，它就是下不去。而且啊，现在其实处于一个非常重要的支撑阻力的换手位当中。你可以发现，我们在这里连续试探了好几根针都没有下去，表示在这条水平线确实就有主力资金或者是有金鱼是想要维护这个价位的。那这种时候呢，如果真的你考虑做空的话，要等跌破这个价位再说。如果你想要去参与这些交易的话呢，我非常推荐 Bybit 交易所，它是当今地表上比特币地本位永续合约深度最深的交易所，而且遇到极端行情永不宕机。那你如果现在点击我的链接，可以享有保证期望最高的优惠。你先输入 Crypto Only， 再入金$500，你就可以享有50天的体验等级，还有1个月的手续费9折优惠。这是我专门跟 Bybit 申请的，我不相信你在任何博主那边可以有看到这种这么优惠的链接。那下面呢，这个是 Bybit 的3500 USDT 的交易证金，你只要点击链接报名并且入金，就可以享有非常高额的奖励金。那你可以完全拿这些证金呢去交易，不用动用到你的本金，等把体验金输光了，你再把本金给提现出来，对你完全不会造成任何的亏损。好，那现在呢，我们就一起来到这支影片的重中之重，最重要的部分，我们要好好的来讲解一下斐波那契。我其实有看很多其他博主的影片，但是呢，我好像没有看到一个很有系统性去讲解斐波那契交易法到底要如何应用的影片。那这支影片呢，我就把它当成是全攻略。其实很多人在给我看斐波那契它的点位的时候，其实都犯了一个问题，就是它的1和0画反的。那我们到底要怎么决定1和0到底是1上0下还是1下0上呢？这个其实跟我们现在身处于怎么样的趋势当中是有密切的关系的。判断趋势永远是我们做交易最重要的部分。好，那我们现在呢，我们当然判断趋势它是有些规则的，比如说高低点的变化啦。但是我们现在讲解斐波那契交易法，我们就假设我们是已经抓到了趋势，比如说呢，我这种话就表示，我们现在是在一波下跌的趋势当中。表示我们的趋势是空头的。那在这个时候呢，因为趋势永远是我们的朋友嘛，所以在下跌的趋势当中，我们就要想办法去做空。那要做空，我们总不能在低位去做空吧？我们要做空，当然是要在高位去做空啊。所以我们要等它到什么点位去做空，就要等它下跌一段之后反弹，但是趋势还没有被改变。那这个时候呢，点位好，我们又可以顺着趋势，在这个时候我们才选择去做空。那它会到什么点位呢？其实我们在做技术分析都是有多多少少包含一点预测的成分在里头的。大家可以很参考0.618这个点位，在1小时还有4小时级别的趋势，0.618都是非常容易回到的点。好，那这个时候又回到我们最重要的问题到底是1上0下还是1下0上呢？这个时候我们是不是在一波空头的走势当中？那当我们要测量，我们可以反弹到什么点位的时候呢？这个时候1就是价格要去的方向，那0呢就是价格的起始方向。我们现在
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
The world is watching. Stay focused.
"30 seconds until minions spawn."
Work hard, die fast.
但是已经看到拐头向上启动一波反弹了嘛？那这个时候价格要去往什么方向呢？是不是就是1的方向？所以我把1放在上方。那价格是从什么地方出发的呢？是不是从0的方向出发的？所以我就把0呢放在下方。其实斐波那契交易法在我的理解当中，它最重要的就是2个字：比例。我们要测量反弹这段它到底是原本趋势这段多少比例。那我可以跟大家稍微说明一下，我们如果到0.618到1的这个区域，那很抱歉，我们的趋势就已经被反弹了。如果说它价格反弹之后还可以回到0.618之上的话，比如说它可以回到这个区域，那它走的不是一个空头的走势。好，那还有第二个区域就是0.618到0.382，这个区域呢是以数字货币当中最容易价格可以来到的地方。那如果可以到0.382到0.6，
Part of me still down there, swimming. Every kill is the voice of
Double kill.
Two sunk. Hard-handed folk deserve a better death. Going under for a breath. A rich man's a lion man. A lion man's a dying man.
An ally has been slain.
Sometimes a shark takes the bait and sinks the whole ship. Sweet revenge. Death keeps spinning. Madness lurks below.
You have slain an enemy. An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain. You have slain an enemy. Shut down. Enemy double kill. Your turret has been destroyed.
No one's honest till they get a knife in the gut. Always favor the chivalry. I see what lurks below. Not survive. What's worth more? A pound of flesh or a gallon of blood?
Turret has been destroyed.
We're already drowning. All we gotta do is open
Your
our
turret
mouths.
has been destroyed.
We're in.
Your team has destroyed a turret. Your turret has been
We're
destroyed.
already on the mend. All we gotta do is roll.
Has been slain. Shut down. An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain.
I've killed a lot of monsters. My new bosses don't care about gold. I look down.
Enemy double kill. Enemy killing spree. An ally has been slain. Your turret has been destroyed. destroyed.
Death keeps spitting me right.
Shut down.
Not so fast!
An enemy is unstoppable.
Split him open. I know who I am. Keep a man down long enough, and the gutter becomes his kingdom. I chose my side.
An ally has been slain.
Out of my way!
You have been slain. Your turret has been destroyed.
I'm already. The deeper I sight, the less. I see your food.
Enemy double kill. Ace. An ally has been slain. Your turret has been destroyed. Your inhibitor has been destroyed.
I'm not the only one who wants revenge.
Now, spool up!
Double kill. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. Aced.
Death keeps spitting
has been destroyed. Your turret has been destroyed.
World don't do charity.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Man folk think they're so smart. Let's see them breathe underwater. The only good captain's a ground captain.
Enemy triple kill.
Leviathans learn. People, I'm not so sure about. There's no way I'm good for business.
Ally has been slain. Your inhibitor has been destroyed. Defeat.
618这个区域呢，价格它还是会大概率的顺着原本的趋势，也就是原本如果走空头，它反弹到这个点位，它就会顺着空头的走势继续往下走。那如果说是反弹到0.382到0这个区域的话呢，那我们的价格就只是经历一波小小的回撤而已，连下跌的反弹都还算不上。好，那我在右边所画的是什么意思呢？在我们还没有交易之前，我们看到的是这个机会。那我们看到了这个机会之后，我们就可以画出斐波那契，然后呢，我们就可以挂单在0.618的地方。因为现在是空头的走势嘛，所以一定是在0.618挂上一张空单。那斐波那契它可以测量的就是我们红色这一波的，我们蓝色框框的下跌，它是针对红色框框的回调，而且呢，它回调的比例到底是来到了多少？那通常会是0.618。我这样讲可能还是有点太抽象了，不如我们就拿一个实际的案例给大家来做讲解好了。那这个呢是比特币的日线级别图表，我就拿我上一次做斐波那契开空的仓位来做示范好了。我上次在这里做了一张空单。好，那我们就回到当时的盘面好了，这个是确实是有记录的，各位可以回去看我之前的影片，我确实上次就在这里开了一张空单。好，那我们先切换到4小时级别嘛。在我们画斐波那契之前呢，我们一定要先搞清楚当前的趋势是什么。这很明显，4小时级别就是空头的趋势。所以我们要找的呢，就是一个反弹空机会，也就是它反弹到什么点位，我们就去做空它。那它会反弹到什么点位呢？这个时候我们就请出我们的法宝斐波那契。现在，因为我们要因应的是一波下跌之后的反弹，那你觉得反弹价格是要从什么地方向什么地方？是不是从下面一直反弹到上面嘛？所以价格要去的地方当做1，价格的起始位是0。好，那我们在一波空头的走势当中，我们是不是要挂上空单？我们要在哪里挂上空单呢？我个人是这么操作的，是在0.5到0.618的这个区域挂上空单。那止损呢，我们就直接挂在0.786，止盈挂在0.236。那为什么我会说我们建仓的区域它是一个方框而不是单一个点呢？这很重要，因为我用的是倒三角的挂单方式，也就是我挂单是这么挂单的。当价格呢它越往上走的时候，我单子的仓位越大，那价格它可能碰到这边就往下走，那我单子仓位就越小，这个就是非常典型的倒三角式的挂单法。好，那这个时候呢，我们挂上单子，我们来测量一下这笔交易它的盈亏比好不好？因为我们是顺着趋势做交易嘛，现在是在一波下跌的空头走势当中，所以我们一定是做空。好，我们做空。刚刚呢，我有介绍用倒三角式的挂单法，但是我的均价会控制在0.618。好，那我们在0.618去做一张空单，止损呢就挂在0.786，那止盈呢就挂在0.236，这是一张盈亏比2.37的单子。我们就继续看接下来这张单子它运行的状况是如何的。好，那我们就接着给它看下去。这个时候呢，大家可能会很纠结啊，到底行情是要往上还是往下？好，这个时候呢，我们的单子已经开始吃到了。你看，我们现在是不是开始达到我们的白色框框？也就是现在已经到了我们建仓的结果。那这个时候我们就挂单它。然后呢，它这不就是让我们吃到更多的仓位？好，那这个时候没关系，没有达到我们的止损，所以继续的持仓。好，然后呢，爆点，止盈了，朋友们，我们止盈了，我们在0.236止盈了。那我个人呢，在这里啊，我记得我当时是止盈半仓，那还留有半仓呢，我就把我的防守止盈给移到下方过来了，可能就移到4小时级别的前一个高点。那我们就继续看发生了什么事吧。后来都有全部止盈嘛，你也可以搭配一些 压力支撑去质疑，所以这单就是一个非常完美的示范。当然了，我的意思不是说每一次我们用斐波那契交易法都会成功的，但是呢，我就举个这个例子嘛，有没有失败的时候？那铁定是有的嘛。好，那我们看完了这个例子呢，再来我们讲解多头的例子，也就是我们的背景是多头向上的。同理可证哦，其实原理都跟刚刚一样，只是方向完全相反的。这个时候呢，我们是不是在一波多头的上涨趋势当中？所以趋势是我们的朋友嘛，我们要找的呢，就是在低位做多的机会。那低位是多低呢？它会回调到哪里呢？就是 0.618。OK， 接下来我们要怎么测量出我们可以回调到什么地位？我们是不是已经在上涨过程当中拐头向下了？所以这个时候呢，价格它会往东方向去呢，是不是往下？所以 A1 就在下面。好，那这个时候我们价格是从哪里出发的呢？是从0出发的，所以0就在上方。右边这个图，左边这个图是我们发现机会，但是我们还没有，我们决定要挂上单子的时候，我们看到是右边这个图，我们画出这样的斐波那契，并且挂上单。然后呢，右边是如果说真的按照你的方向去走的话，它会走成这个样子哦。也就是红色的框框呢，它是针对蓝色的上涨的回调。那它回调到什么点位呢？如果我们以上涨这一段为比例1的话，那下跌这一段呢，它就是比例0.618。所以我们就选择在这里挂上一张多单去吃趋势的钱，无赚趋势的钱。这样讲还是有点太抽象。那不如我们就再举一个例子来举例好了。我记得我当时是在这里吧，做一张多单。好，那我们就切换到4小时级别的盘面。首先呢，我们用斐波那契交易法之前，我们一定要很明确的辨别出当今的盘面它走的是多头还是空头的走势。现在这个走势，各位认为是多头还是空头呢？相信大家是我的观众应该都很聪明，这铁定是个多头的走势嘛。那这个时候，我们趋势是我们的朋友，我们要找的就是它下跌的时候我们去做多，那跌到哪里去做多呢？我们就接着给它看下去。好，我们继续看哦。它现在是不是出现了一点回调的迹象？有没有？它现在是什么走势？是不是上涨？然后呢，已经跌了一点点，但是它还没有跌完，也还没有进行继续的往上做运行哦。那它现在是不是跟我在这里画的图案是一样的，是吧？那这个时候呢，我们就会选择画出一个斐波那契。这个时候1上还是0下？这个时候是1在上还是1在下？请问各位朋友，我们现在是不是价格它要往下来做运行呢？所以下方是不是价格要去的方向？所以1是价格要去的方向嘛，我们就把1放在下面。好，那这个时候我们要顺着趋势去做交易嘛，所以我们是不是要在底部挂上多单？那我们要在哪里挂上多单呢？我个人会选择在0.5到这里去挂上多单，以一个正三角形的方式去挂单，也就是我们的仓位呢到了越底部的地方，我的仓位就越大。那如果它只弹到这里，就上去了，那我的仓位就比较少。止损呢就是在0.786，那止盈呢在0.236。我们用 long position 来测量一下这笔单子呢它的盈亏比合不合理。当然了，我用一个正三角形的建仓方式，但是我的均价呢我都会把它控制在0.618这个点位。我们的止盈是不是在0.236呢？那止损是不是在0.786？是吧？好，那这是一张2.32的盈亏比的单子，也算是蛮不错的了。我们挂好单之后呢，我们就等着行情，它一步步的来进入我们布下的天罗地网。好，那我们就看接下来的行情是怎么运行的吧。好，看下去。涨了。好，那接下来呢会回来吗？好，我们建仓喽。我们现在建仓喽，它已经来到了我们的建仓价格喽，所以我们现在已经手上是持仓的状况当中了。好，继续看，反弹了。好，止盈了，朋友们，我们止盈了。为什么呢？因为我们达到了0.236的止盈位，但是我个人当时是止盈了半仓，然后呢，我就直接在这里止盈半仓了，然后剩下一半的仓位呢，我就把我的止损点给移到这里来。因为我希望接下来呢，它还是在一波上涨走势当中，甚至直接就创出新高了，所以我选择把我的止损移到这里来。那我把止损移到这里来，是不是可以保证一件事，就是可以保证我绝对是赢的，我绝对赚钱，只是赚多赚少的问题。
Demacia must lead by
，to
example.
好，那
summon
我
a
们
friend.
好，那这个时候呢，它在4小时，它一样的都是创造出 higher high，然后 higher low，所以这个时候呢，没有必要去把你的仓位给平掉。那接下来呢，怎么走？
30 seconds until
止盈了，
minions
止盈了，
spawn.
因为它的4小时级别的 K 线呢已经达到了
Shine with me.
我的防守值，那这个时候我就选择止盈出场。这个时候虽然说赚的比前几个4小时要来的少，但是我们设好防守值，就可以确保我们100%一定是赚钱的。非常感谢大家，我以后呢还是非常的会出这些相关的教程，甚至有很多朋友都在敲碗这个斜波形态。那这个斜波形态呢，我非常想要把它做好，而且我想要做一个是全市场最完善的，也就是你看到所有电脑。
Minions have spawned.
I don't have dark secrets. I have bright ones. I believe in you, not just Demacia. I want to see you. If you can smile, you can be the light.
slain.
Banish the shadows. Pushing my limits. Home is where the spark is. Shine bright! Don't think so. Let's go!
You have been slain.
My time.
An enemy has been slain.
Losing is just an opportunity.
An enemy has been slain.
Stay positive. Into battle with hearts aglow. We can do this. Huh. Stay there. Keep believing. Huh. Banish the shadows. Ooh, I've never been here before. Shine with me.
An ally has been slain. Shut down. You have been slain. An enemy has been slain. Turret plating will soon fall.
We all shine on.
An enemy has been slain. Your team has destroyed a turret. Your team has destroyed a turret.
The light will guide you.
Your team has
Even
destroyed
now.
a turret.
Lighting the way.
Enemy double kill.
Pushing my limits. Demacia! Banish the shadows. Where the spark is. The superior tactic.
spree. Shut down. An ally has been slain.
Shine with me.
Slain.
I don't have dark secrets. I have bright ones. I'm right.
Your turret has been destroyed.
I want to see everything. If you can smile, you can be the light.
Enemy killing spree.
Everywhere I go.
Enemy rampage.
Pushing my limits. Home is where the spark is. Banish the shadows.
兵。
to Summoner's Rift.
The world is watching. Stay focused.
"30 seconds until minions spawn." Minions have spawned.
The sun is shining. We should too. Keep believing. We can do this.
Accuracy.
Pulse. An ally has been slain.
The thing about light is, it never... Everywhere I go, the light follows.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. Double kill.
Home is where the spark is. Into battle with hearts aglow.
Protect.
Hate surprises. Unless I'm doing this.
If you can smile, you can be the light. shadows. Shine with me. Julia,
You have slain an enemy. Turret plating will soon fall.
I don't have dark secrets. I have bright ones.
Has been slain. Enemy double kill.
Oh, I've never been here before.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Shine bright.
An ally has been slain.
Pushing my limits.
Has been slain. Has been slain.
Stay positive.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Keep believing.
Killing spree.
We can do this.
been slain. An enemy has been slain. Shut down. Shut down.
If you can smile, you can be the light. The world has seen enough darkness. I want to see everything.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Me. Shine with me.
Double kill. An enemy has been slain.
Eliminate the enemy.
Your team has destroyed a turret. Rampage.
The superior tactic is to never give up. Have dark secrets. I have bright ones.
Your team has destroyed a turret. Your team has destroyed a turret. Unstoppable.
Pushing my limits.
Has been slain.
Thank you. Stay positive.
Victory!
Fear me.
Let's light it up.
In a recent article. This is a huge achievement for you, obviously. Is there anything that you want to say to your fans?
Well, you know, it's actually really funny because the way that I kind of have conceptualized like my image over the years is that, you know, when I started out, it was basically just investing and trading, right? Like basically a
Decentralized exchange.
just different. So my set of priors is to say, okay, we can invest in Bitcoin and Ether as stores of value. That's fine. And we speculate on when we buy them and when we sell them, and the global demand for user and the global demand for crypto monies, right? But at the same time, we also feel that applications on Ethereum have really suffered from optimistic rollup not being competitive, and then later on, newer scaling not coming out. And the world we live in today is very different from the world we imagined when Ethereum DeFi was sort of at their highs. And so seeing that world, I'm an introspective person. So I look at that and I ask myself, why did it fail, right? What happened? And the reasons that I'm seeing, or the kind of the realities that I believe I am perceiving, are that, well, first of all, the builders are actually better on these other chains because they have chosen these other chains because they want to reach them. So I see that with Do Kwon and Luna. I see this with a few other projects. And this, I think, is actually the anti-culture case for Ethereum, which is that it actually is unable to provide a space for these type of builders. I remember during a clubhouse where Andre Cronje, he said, I think this was in like March, I can't remember exactly when, but he said, like, if you're an EVM builder today, you need to go to BSC immediately, right? And then, at that time, like, then a whole host of people went to BSC. But I think that this is the future of smart contract application space and users. And so from my point of view, I do have a bit of regret and nostalgia for the ETH DeFi at times, and I wish that it would have gone better. But I think that, the reason why I was so triggered by Kane is because he kind of is kind of the ultimate example of sort of an ETH OG who did very well holding ETH basically, and then the product itself has kind of not been as and it's not something where I'm like shaming builders or this or that, but he's the one who says anyone who's not building on Ethereum layer 2 is like we're gonna keep a track of all your names, and then I'm not gonna welcome you back to the community. I mean, this is dangerous stuff, I think. And this is stuff where I don't believe in it. So I think that at the end of the day, the same problems that happen to Bitcoin maximalists are happening to Ethereum maximalists. And the problem for Ethereum is that while it matters less for Bitcoin because you don't have to do anything with Bitcoin, it matters more for Ethereum because you actually have to do things on Ethereum. And so if builders are starting to go to other chains, which I see them doing, this is a matter of debate that I have with some other funds, but I do see builders going to other chains, especially Solana, especially Avalanche. Then the floodgates are very open on that. And we won't be able to claim in 2 years that all the innovation is on Ethereum, right? And once you lose that, then really what you have left is you can say that the EVM enshrines ETH as the holy asset, which I think it is happening, and that it shares a store of value case with Bitcoin, and that can be fine as it is, right? That really can be the end game, and it can do well. But I don't think that this is something where that alternate layer ones are sort of discredited for their approach, because it's kind of fascinating, almost like as a fractal, but I kind of see like ETH as being what original Bitcoin wanted to be in some ways, right? Which is sort of having NFTs and having DeFi and these kind of things. And then I see like alt layer ones trying to be what Ethereum was trying to be, which is like, reaching a billion.
The thing where
users.
Vitalik said that if there's like, what did he say? If there's like
5 cent fees. He said if Bitcoin has 5 cent fees,
that's not
way
the
too
internet
high.
of money. Then the internet of money has failed. Yeah, I mean, stuff like that, of course, makes you look very bad in the future. That's a given.
Yeah. So I mean, and I think it's I still own more ETH than pretty much. I still own more Ether than pretty much anybody I know. So it's not something where.
But I think this is. I mean, this is also to me. This is also like a warning sign. But I mean, Vitalik is a very smart guy, and he already.
Yeah.
First, like the Bitcoin Cash people fell on their face, making the claim that you can guarantee some kind of low-cost environment without sacrificing all decentralization. Then Vitalik made the same statement. He fell on his face, and now I see. For me, it's just Groundhog Day. I see a new class of people repeat the same things that already the Bitcoin Cash people have failed at. Vitalik has failed at. They are not going to succeed, in my opinion. I think they are going to fail for the same reasons. And that's sort of what makes me a bit frustrated about seeing these arguments, because it's not, yes, I'm taking like a technologist stance on this, where I say, yeah, I'm better at evaluating this than the market. I can say this is going to fail for, technological reasons. This is going to run into its scaling limits, and at some point also the narratives around it are going to collapse when the fees go up and they have no credible scaling roadmap. So but to me this just feels like I've seen the story like play out more than once in the past.
I think the sort of shortest rebuttal I would give to that is to say just look at the network growth rates on the other networks and then say, let's assume that they run into scaling problems. And let's assume that they solve them in a way that would be maybe not acceptable to Ethereum people, and certainly not acceptable to Bitcoin people. I mean, keep in mind too, a lot of Ethereum's decentralization trade-offs are completely unacceptable to Bitcoin people, right? And so I think that then you're very much back in the fractal that I'm talking about, which is that Ethereum people making the same arguments against other chains that Bitcoin people make against Ethereum, right? And I guess what I would say is that I do see these finding product market fit, and I do see these teams being at least more motivated to onboard users. And so I guess what I'm warning, or not warning, but what I'm kind of predicting is that that alt layer ones will continue to do very, very well. And I also see this in Web2 investors that I speak with, right? Because when the Web2 investors come to crypto, I think some of them, they gravitate toward the Ethereum vision. But then as they do, they start to see like, okay, well, how fast is this network growing? Because I'm investing in network effects. Right? How fast is the network growing? And then they see that all the other chains are having way faster network effects. And then they're saying, okay, well, what is the reason for this? And so if the reason is that Ethereum is waiting for its own scaling, then it starts to sound like Bitcoin, right? It starts to sound a lot like Bitcoin. So then they're like, okay, well, I clearly need to hedge because these are already outperforming Ether by a lot. And on top of that, there's, very credible activity happening. I understand that Ether people say it's not decentralized, but I also understand that Bitcoin people say Ether is not decentralized. You see what I'm saying there, right? So that's kind of what I'm predicting, basically. And I think that for me, like, I kind of had the thesis, fortunately, relatively early during the bear market, that I think all layer ones are deeply undervalued because these are real teams building stuff. And I was fortunate enough to, so like Polkadot, Kusama, Avalanche, Near. We pretty much said at that time, pretty much any alt layer one that is doing that is shipping code is incredibly undervalued by the market. I think Richard, who we had on our podcast with DACM, he had basically that thesis, and he helped us kind of see it, which is that for the same reasons that Ethereum grew very quickly, these chains also will grow very quickly because penetration of smart contract users and just applications is zero of the main population. So it's a world where we live in where just to give an example, right? Like Tezos just put a great deal with Ubisoft where they're going to give something like 10 million wallets to Ubisoft users, and then they're going to tease it in them. So, I can see a world where chains can do well just being used in one country, right? And then going from there. And so, I guess what I'm saying is, like, the world is a very, very big place. And I see layer ones doing very different approaches to biz dev, very different approaches to users. And I think that this is healthy, actually, for broader crypto. It does hurt a bit of Ethereum dominance. Like, I think Ethereum would be much closer to flipping Bitcoin today if Ethereum had managed to find, if it basically what we think of as the scaling roadmap in 2025, if it had been achieved by today, right? Being that we're in the world we are in today, I see sort of more of a hybrid Bitcoin and Ether will share store value case, and then I see a multitude of alt layer ones, and I think that, not to say that this is good or bad, but just to say this is, I think, just the reality.
So Ethereum has also, of course, gone through periods of extreme growth. And back in the day, we used to use this as an investment case for Ethereum over Bitcoin, right? We saw that, Bitcoin was valued much higher, but Ethereum growth in any relevant metric was just leaving Bitcoin completely in the dust. There were more.
I think what I realized looking back is that we were asking the wrong question. We were asking the wrong question, which is the OG question, which is, should I own more Ether or Bitcoin? But that's actually the wrong question.
Well, my question to you would have been, why do you think that the growth that these newer chains are seeing is going to be more sticky than the growth that Ethereum has seen?
What I would say is that their growth has already been much faster than Bitcoin and Ethereum, and their growth can continue to be much faster because, one, they don't have technical debt. Bitcoin has technical debt, right? Ethereum has huge technical debt. These new ones, they don't have technical debt, in part because they're more centralized, but also in part because they're new, right? They're already proof of stake. Well, for Ether, it will be very hard to go proof of stake. It'll take months and months, right? And there will be a lot of questions as we go into it. And so technical debt is one reason. Also, I think spirit of community is another, right? Where the concept of getting in on the ground floor is very attractive to people. And, if you look at Ether today, like, it doesn't offer the opportunities, I think, that it did when people were around in 2019. So even if you look at, like, talking about airdrops, right? Like, all this stuff is for if you were a user in 2019, as far as I'm concerned. Like, ENS, you registered it in 2019. Using some of these products, okay, like, some of them late 2019, 20, but they're all kind of like, I mean, I would posit that it's all the same 2,000 users, 2,000 to 5,000, you know, that are basically benefiting from this, and so that's kind of the big challenge, I think, which is Ethereum's growth of users on L1 has basically gone to zero, right? Because of the fees. And I can accept the argument that that's fine because we'll do rollups, but I would then also argue that if you assume that's true, then the growth rates on alt layer ones will be very fast because there is a demand for people to get involved in crypto, and this is where they will go. And so for me, it's trivial that the growth rate of user counts and activity on other chains will be faster than on Ethereum. It's a broader question, what will outpace the other in dollars today from where we are here? Because obviously we are already up 1,000x on Solana, we're already up hundreds of X on the other coins, and these are all kinds of, we're trying to get to questions of like, what is a fair percentage of Ethereum market cap this thing should be? But I think when it comes to user counts, when it comes to activity levels, when it comes to new builders, new passionate builders who want to build more applications, I very much see these going to Solana, Starkware, Avalanche, and a few others. And I think that that's just natural. So I do think that when there's more opportunities to deploy on L2, I think they'll also do so. But I think that Ethereum has lost that network effect of being able to say, all innovators come to my chain and join my community. I didn't realize it quite early enough. I think if I had, I would have just sold all my Ether for Solana and Avalanche. But be that as it may, I was comparing Ether too much to Bitcoin, and so I suffered that fate along with you, basically. As part of the sort of the OG crowd now that debates Bitcoin versus Ether all day, right? And I've met young guys, like retail guys, but like they're like 50% sold, 50% AVAX from $1. And these guys are just like, why do you even talk about Bitcoin and Ether? Like, what is the point? And so like there is that perspective that I have to remind myself of each time, because each generation, each crypto wave has brought in new people, right? And their perspective is very different from yours and mine. And speaking to these kind of guys, I am sometimes struck by like, are we the boomers?
Yes. I think I would be. I mean, I would agree that somebody who comes in today won't use Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they shouldn't, because for all the reasons that we talked about. But that doesn't mean that they are any more right in the long term. I think if you've only been here for half a cycle, then I think there's definitely the risk of sort of overvaluing what is new and what you know over what is long-term viable. I would say that at the end of the day, I'm a pragmatist. I have no ideological reason to support Ethereum. I would say I'm pretty far from being like an ideologue. I think that in terms of its roadmap, it's going to be cheaper and better for the user and an application builder to use a rollup that posts proofs to Ethereum than these alternate layer ones, if they are just a layer one. So they can have the same rollup, the same sharding roadmap, and then I think it's sort of a fair game. But I think that this approach is probably going to win out over the monolithic layer one approach. And I say that because I believe in it for, that it's like pragmatically the best approach, and not because I think it's somehow more, I don't know, that it's like for moral reasons or whatever.
Right. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I guess my point is that for me as someone who invests prolifically in applications, I see the strongest applications being built on non-Ethereum these days. And that's something that I would have been absolutely, if you had told me this a year ago, I would have said absolutely no way. Zero chance. All the innovation I see is on Ethereum. And now all the application innovation I see is not on Ethereum. And so this is just, for me, that's my perspective on it. And that makes me sad in a way, because it's different from what I thought it would be. And it's different from what I hoped it would be. And so I think that that's kind of where the biggest fear for me in crypto is that if we get to a world where the end game is then you don't need to have any like you get to the most centralized chain, and then that is the thing that, you know, I mean, I'm kind of seeing this like, and it scares me with some of these Web 2 guys, and they're saying like, well, you know what, you don't even need crypto, you just have tokens. The whole point is tokens. Once you have tokens, you can incentivize everybody, you incentivize your users, you can get rid of the token blockchain, right? Just get tokens. And this is, I mean, Cody is talking about a little bit as well. And this is what really scares me, because if we don't make reasonably credible applications that scale to users, you do run some risk that like, you know, we're just talking about tokens in 5 years that run in actual databases. So I come from that perspective, but I mean, I think at the end of the day, like it's the points on both sides are really well understood now. I think, you know, the market will decide, the new users will decide, the new builders will decide, and I think it's not even worth debating, honestly, because I think it's more about prognostication, right? So people will set their chips the way they want to set them, and then that's it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm a pretty strong believer in the thesis that fast forward 5 years and people will be using applications. They will not be using blockchains. They will be going directly to applications, like they go to their bank, their broker, whatever, their super app. And they will be using these applications, and they will know that it's non-custodial, but they won't know on what chain it runs. And they won't have to. They don't have to care. And then it's purely a matter of what chain can get the best properties to builders and to users. And there won't be any sort of, any reason to favor one over the other for any other reason. And that's definitely also the approach that I'm taking. And if it's true that other chains can capture better builders and can retain them in the long term, then I definitely think that these chains are in a good position. Personally, I don't see that right now. I think definitely it's very attractive for a new builder to build on new chains, but it's also because these chains tend to be emptier, and this is not going to sustain, so there's some amount of short-termism, and there tend to be big incentives, right? So between building on Ethereum and building on Avalanche, where I know that Ava Labs is paying out huge, they are dumping like AVAX incentives on any application that builds there. Of course, that's a huge bribe for me as an application builder to favor that chain. But I also know that this is not long-term sustainable, right? So at some point, this sort of incentivized growth will taper off, and then what matters is the actual technical trade-offs.
Well, I think the biggest counter argument to what you said is that it's already been wrong for many months now, right? Where, from the vision that we would have seen a year ago to now, it's already been wrong. And then, so I think the question is then, at what point will that vision be correct? And I think the answer that most Ethereum people give is that it will be correct when we finally have an L2 scaling that is competitive with the user experience on layer ones. That is what they say. But what they're underestimating is that the new users don't have an allegiance to ETH the way that you do, right? So even when that is out, there is no guarantee that the new user will then say, I value the technical trade-off of Ethereum, I'm gonna go there. That, I think, is the biggest point. And I'll also make the point that Starkware does not belong to Ethereum, right? Starkware belongs to itself. And they very much do not plan to pay rent to Ethereum. So this is something too where I would say, arguably all L2s will not want to pay rent. They will also end up becoming like L1. So that kind of is my biggest kind of problem, which is that the execution layer, the execution environment that provides the best experience for applications, whether incentivized or not, once it has those and once it has a flywheel of users coming in, that's incredibly powerful. And I've seen that with BSC and Binance, where, even with a weaker technical roadmap, they've been able to capture half of all, they just have by far the most users of any chain. It's not even close, right? And that's why all the new GameFi companies are launching their games on BSC, because that's just where the users are. So I think that it's just something where I find the Ethereum rhetoric to be more out of touch with where I see applications and users going than ever before. And this is something that I think is honestly irrelevant to the average stakeholder, because like I said, I think DeFi or pool now is not coming from that stuff. It's coming from people buying Bitcoin and Ether together as part of the monetary basket. And so I get why they're also out of touch with it, because their goals are different and their kind of ideas are different. But if we're talking about where users are and where they're going, where builders are going, I do find it very facile to say, well, as soon as we get our layer 2s up, then they're all going to come back. I personally am not a believer in that, because I don't think that's it's just not how I've seen the world play out.
If we say the builders just build on what's cheapest and gives them the best guarantees to them and their users, then I think that there's a good chance that many applications will favor building on a rollup that settles to Ethereum. Like we see with DYDX, right? DYDX, you couldn't build it on a layer 1 blockchain. Not really. You can only build it in an environment where computation is really cheap, even cheaper than it is on Solana. And I think that we're probably going to see more of that in the future.
I mean, DYDX is a great example too, right? Because if you look at what Antonio said, he said that we built this on Starkware, and Starkware finalized it to Ethereum. If they have an opportunity to finalize other chains, they will definitely do so. And the Starkware guys have said from the beginning, like we will offer this to all chains, right? So Ethereum does not. I guess my point is, Ethereum does not own the idea of the rollup. They do not own the idea of the ZK rollup. They did fund it in the beginning, the Ethereum Foundation, but they absolutely do not own the idea of it. So if this is such a good idea, this is not an Ethereum idea. This is a point that Kalasmani made in a thread a while ago, which is that Ethereum people's main rebuttal to why they don't have the user network right now is that they say, well, wait for ZK rollups to get huge, and then I'm going to have it. But ZK rollups are going to be everywhere. So this is not unique to Ethereum.
Exactly. I think, but that's it's interesting how we both see sort of the same argument as
you see
in favor, being
right?
in favor of our point.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Because your point assumes a point of reference, right? You have a very objectivist way of viewing the world, and you have this point of reference, which is that it started with ETH and it comes back to ETH. So the activity all comes back in line because we all recognize this. Similar to when you're very bullish Bitcoin, right? Like the monetary amount. It all comes back, and we're all competing with money, but it all comes back to the thing itself. And kind of what I see is that this may or may not happen, but I don't have the certainty that it will come back to Ethereum, because I do see the users, I do see the applications like very much building elsewhere. So for me, it's far more dangerous to have certainty than to have like uncertainty in this kind of a situation where I see like 9 out of 10 projects building on non-Ethereum today.
Okay, so I should also clarify. I definitely agree with you. I don't